I am Michelle Fray. My studio is the Michelle Fray Design Studio, and I am a fashion designer.
My name is Desiree Riley. I'm 26 years old and I am the owner of Desiree Design.
My name is Rene Hill. I'm a fashion designer, tailor, and wool expert.
Fashion to me is your own sense of style. Whatever you feel good in, whatever makes you feel comfortable. It's just an expression of yourself.
I guess fashion is whatever makes you feel good. Whatever, whether it's quote unquote in style or not in style, it's really what makes you feel, what makes the person feel right. You know, wearing it, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
My first job, very long time ago, very long time ago, um, I would say was when I worked at Fashion Fabrics. And I was just a salesperson, but that gave me the opportunity to learn about all the different types of fabrics, what fabrics work best for what design. So it gave me that foundation.
My first job in fashion was about 2 years ago. I was involved in a showcase called Smash, and it was just a group of designers that came together and done a small showcase.
My first job was working with my aunt Lynette in New York, and it really wasn't a job, it was more of an internship. And basically, I was like a gopher sort of thing, best way to put it. I would have to sort of run down to Fifth Avenue, pick up bales of pre-cut fabric, bring it back, and then I would do things like buttons and basic stuff. She did all the main sewing.
I attended Bermudian College. Way back then, they actually had a certificate in fashion design. So I initially done 2 years there, and then I went over to London to American College, and I done 1 year there. And from there, I transferred over to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. And I was there for 4 years, so I got my Associates of Applied Science as well as my Bachelor's of Fine Art in Fashion Design.
Pretty much everything that I learned from fashion was pretty much self-taught and just trying out new materials, taking stuff from home and taking it apart and then putting it back together again to find out how the seamsters and tailors actually made the item.
I liked writing and stuff. I also like sewing and making jewelry and all sorts of other things. But it wasn't until I designed some scarves and I just was crocheting, and that's how it all kind of happened.
I love the feel of fabric in my hands. I love the hand stitching of the basting or the hemming of pants. Um, I love the relationships that I establish with my clients, and more or equally as important in recent years is the love that I have sort of redeveloped for teaching.
Seeing it on the runway or seeing it in a photo shoot, I definitely love seeing my work in photo shoots.
As a fashion designer, I think the most important facets you have to know how to sew. Well, sewing and sketching are your two most important, because you have to know sewing, sketching, and your fabric. You have to know fabric, because you could do a fabulous sketch and realize that may have chosen the wrong fabric and it doesn't work together.
The project I'm most proud of was the collection I did for the Small Boutique Fashion Week in New York. I basically pulled together, I was in London, and basically I just went over to get my banking sorted, but then ended up by just picking up fabrics and then whipping them up on my mom's sewing machine, then flying out the morning of, and then hitting New York, staying with a friend, and then completing said project with him. And he lived on the same street as the show, 18th Street. It was like incredible, but it was amazing to sort of see what I could do in such a short period of time. I literally pulled that collection together inside of a week. Yeah.
It basically starts with me just sitting there thinking of an idea. I kind of go off of different objects that I see, such as like buildings, colors of different plants that just inspire me, and the cuts that I use it in my fashion creative um, designing. So that's basically how I start. Do a sketch. I'm not the best artist, but I do some sketches just to keep myself um, understand what I want to make, and then I create the garment after that.
I mean, my advice to people who are just sort of looking in is that know that there's a lot that goes into a garment. Like be aware that it's not just somebody just whipped it up, or as they say, run it up the side, or a lot goes into it. So respect the craft. Yeah.
Um, well, as I had mentioned, back 30 years ago or whatever, 25, 30 years ago, um, everyone sewed. And it was just part of what we done. Clothing was not easily as accessible as it is now, where people travel so much and you can order any and everything over the internet. Back then, we sewed. We would go to Fashion Fabrics, or I believe what's the lady's name, who was up in Warwick? Veronica's, I believe her name was. Was another fabric store that we had, Mrs. Hall's up in Somerset. So people will go in and buy fabric and buy patterns and make the outfits for the Sunday football game. Today, with the accessibility of fashion over the internet or traveling or in stores, the variety, people don't sew like that anymore.
You have a few that you can go and talk to, you can get advice from. There's a lot of models and photographers and just people all around that are willing to support you and to help motivate you, even if you go through a struggle and you're feeling low about being in the designing world. There's a lot of people on Ireland that definitely support you because we are small. I feel that a lot of people do try and help and to motivate you and keep you going in the fashion industry.
Tenacity. That's just to be tenacious. If you're not tenacious, then you're not going to make it. I think it's about going forward even when things look bleak, because sometimes things are going to look bleak. Sometimes things are not going to go your way every day. They don't go your way every day anyway, but it's just I just think it's important to keep going, keep believing in yourself and believing in your craft.
But I'm not one to follow fashion. I just do what I love. I know what I like and I wear it. I think everybody else should too. Don't listen to designers. That's crazy.